I was never parented as an adult. I was never parented as a child. I'm sorry. I was never parented as a child, right? I was never parented. So what's happening to me now? I'm 31 years old, and now I have to go back and I have to parent myself. I have to argue with my 12-year-old self. That's sad. Because no one wanted to adopt her. I have to argue with my 12-year-old self who's throwing her hands in the air being like, no, I don't want to get rid of this pain. No, I don't want to feel. No, I don't think it's ever gonna end. I have to go in as a mother in my brain to my 12-year-old self and say, it's okay that you're sad. It's okay that you feel no one's ever gonna love you. And it's okay if you wanna be sassy and you wanna be a fucking crazy, feisty 12-year-old. You wanna be a teenager? You wanna fight back? That's okay. Fight back and I will be here for you. And I have to accept it and I have to love that as me towards my person. I have to figure out how to parent each and every part of me that was never parented throughout my entire life. I have to be that for myself. And it's crazy. It's a crazy experience. It's a beautiful experience. No, I'm doing it every other day for the next 3 weeks. What's the biggest benefit of my therapy? I don't know, because I'm not even halfway through it. Thanks so much, B-Man Owen. Thank you. Thank you so much. It doesn't sound like a beautiful experience, no offense. It sounds like a very traumatic and painful experience. I can understand how you think it doesn't sound like a beautiful experience, but let me tell you. So I'm gonna explain to you the last thing that happened to me. But come on. Okay. So the last time I took ketamine, let me explain it. So the last time I took ketamine, my intention was more compassion for myself, more compassion for the thoughts that I have in my life, more compassion for the ideology that is Desiree, not Adriana, more compassion towards my inner monologue, right? So what happened is I'm laying in my bed and I start drifting off into the illusion, right? I take the ketamine, I drift off into the illusion. And what happens is I'm laying there and I'm laying there.
Make it rain!
I'm gonna ignore everything that happens. And I'm laying there. And in this moment, the pain isn't in my heart, the pain is in my head. And the pain that I have in my head is in two factors, right? It's in my left side, which is like light, airy, and fluffy, and my right side, which is like red and inky, and it's way down, right? So I'm sitting here and I have these two conflicting people, and then I start to visualize, why are these two things conflicting me? My therapist is like, what are these conflicting problems? And what happens is these conflicting problems turn into three personalities. So I have Desiree as a whole. I have Desiree crying on her bed, hitting the pillows, stomping her feet, wanting attention. And then I have Desiree with her hands folded, standing in a playground, mad. No, I don't want to listen to you. I don't care what you have to say. Let me stick my tongue out at you. And then I have the other Desiree banging at the pillows. And then I have the real Desiree who's like, fuck you, get over this shit. She grabs the Desiree who's on the pillows. She grabs the Desiree who's on the bed and she pulls her off the bed. And you know what happens as she pulls her off the bed? She starts pulling her off the bed. And the grasp of myself on the bed, pulling the weight of those pillows, starts to hurt my body to where my right side of my body starts to cause pain. The right side of my body is in actual pain. I feel pain across the right side of my body to where I'm stiff. Desiree, normal, is here. Desiree at distress is here, and it hurts, and it's causing me pain to where I'm crying and I can't feel it. And then you know what happens? I look up at my other self who's on the playground, who's bitchy and sassy. She looks at me and she goes, why are you allowing yourself to feel this pain? Why are you being such a baby? And you know what happens to that pain? My person, Desiree, decides to tell that other person who's in pain, that's crying on the pillows, to accept it. Let me accept the pain that I feel. I'm pulling myself off the bed, but you know what? Instead of yanking myself off this mattress, let me accept that this person is crying. Let me accept that this person's feelings are valid, right? So I'm like crying and I'm like, okay. And I start to feel these things. And I start to accept these things, right? And I accept them so much so to where the person that's being pulled off the bed starts to dissipate into my left side, right? And then my right side that was covered in pain because there was a girl hitting the pillows and stuff turns into dead weight. It's heavy. I literally drop my hand to the side of me while I'm in therapy. I drop it to the side and I say, it's heavy. It's so heavy. My therapist says, okay, well, if it's heavy, let's let it be heavy. Why is it so heavy? Because my 12-year-old self carries the world. My 12-year-old self carries not only the pain that I've carried, but it carries everything that I've been through up until then. And it carries the children I take care of, and it carries the family that I take care of, and it carries the future that I wish for myself. So much so to where it's dead weight, right? It's dead weight. I can't even move it. I can't. If you told me to move it, I couldn't. It's heavy. It's heavy. And then I look at myself as Desiree as a female woman, and I look at my 12-year-old self and I say, hey, I'm like,